Hello, everyone. Welcome to another video of operations planning and control. In this video, I'll be talking about time studies, measures, the process flow charts, and other techniques. This is important because we need to understand and design a job, basically. When we design a job, we need to align that job with the strategic plan. We did talk about last chapter about strategic plan for an organization, and now we're going into the specific details of the job. So designing a work system is part of developing an operation strategy. So we need to make sure that that strategy, in order to implement that strategy, we have the right people that they're going to implement that strategy. And when we have the right people, we need to make sure that they know how to do the job in the right way. So when we design for a work system, what we need to look into, we look into three elements: job design, work measurement, and work compensation. So these are the three things that we need to talk about it today in this video. So the first one I'm going to start with is design a job. We design a job for a specific activities, for whether a project, like individual project, or a group of activity. And we need to answer these questions. When we design the job, we need an answer for these questions, such as the job description, the purpose of the job, where the job to be done, who does the job, background, training, skills that are required to do the job. So these are the things that we need. Whenever we design a job, we consider these factors. Other factors that we also should consider, we need to look into the technical factor, which is the job must be physical and mentally doable. We need to look into the economic feasibility of the job itself. Does the cost of performing the job less than the value it adds? So this is important because we need to consider eventually selling the product or providing the service. But if that job would cost us more than the product itself, so maybe this is not the right way for doing it. So we need to think about the economic concept of designing the job. Also, we need to look into the behavioral feasibility, which is the degree to which the job intrinsically satisfying to the employee. Is the employee who's doing the job will be happy with the job or not? So these are the things that we need to do. So whenever we look into a job, we look into analyzing the job. We look into what is called methods analysis. So whenever we look into method analysis, we have to include a step-by-step analysis of how a given job is performed. Again, this is called when we need to design a job, when we need to look into the job description, who's going to do it, the skills, and so on. Before we do this, we have to analyze the method, or what we call analyze the job itself. And this is, again, a step-by-step analysis of a given job and how that given job is performed. In order to do this, we need to consider something called the value-added activities and the non-value-added activities. And the value-added activity, these are the things that the customers are willing to pay for. However, the non-value-added activities, these are the activities that does not add any value to the product or the service, but however, it's there for some reason. Therefore, we should look and eliminate these steps in the non-value added to reduce the cost and improve the profit. We also, analysis can revise the procedure to improve productivity. So it's not necessary to create a job or create a new rule. It's also could be used, we do analysis, a job analysis, because we need to improve the process itself. And after improvement, you need to look into the new standards, revise these new standards. You need to follow up and ensure that all these implementation has been happening and it is implemented in that job. All right, so here are the 7 steps. These are the 7 steps that we use to implement the job analysis or the rule analysis or the process analysis the textbook called methods analysis. So let's be consistent with the textbook and use the same term, which is methods analysis. Personally, I like process analysis. So these are the 7 steps. Number one is identify the operations to be analyzed. So which process you need to analyze. You gather all the information related to that job, talk with the employees who's doing that job, chart the operations. Now, this is what we need to do. We need to create a chart, a diagram. And if you know what diagram we will use, it's called the flow chart diagram or the value stream mapping. We will talk about that in a few slides. And then evaluate each step. So once we analyze it, so basically the flow chart will help you to break down the process into very specific steps, A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, and then evaluate each step, and then look into room for improvements. Look for bottlenecks, look for inefficiencies, look for reworks and defects, look into long wait times. These are the things that you need to keep an eye on. And then brainstorm for suggestions. And same, we are still in step 5. Brainstorm for improvements that you need to do, and revise the existing new operations as needed based on the analysis process, and put the revised or the new operation into effect, and then follow up on the changes and make sure that people are following on this. All right, so what we need to do is next is we need to how we could select a process now, based on what? So there are at least 4 reasons that you could select a specific job. So you have so many processes in your organization that you really wish that you could improve them. However, what I would recommend is focus on these that have a high labor content, focus on these that are done frequently, focus on these that are unsafe, tiring, unpleasant, or noisy jobs. And also look into where you have some problems related to quality or processing problems, such as the bottlenecks. All right, so in order to, again, to select a process, use these 4 reasons to select the process. And then once you select the process, what you want to do, you need to document the current method, how this process has been done. Use the graphs and charts, including the flow chart diagram and value stream mapping. This will give you a good understanding of the job and how you could improve it. And this also will use it later on. Once you improve the process, you could look into the before and after. You could compare the before and after. And then once you implemented that, look into analyze the job and proposing a new method. So based on what you've seen for the current method, based on the brainstorming, bottlenecks, quality issues, other things, you need to propose a new method. And you need to look into things like what and why, when, where, and who of the job. These are the things that we need to look carefully and ask these questions. Often simply going through these questions will clarify the review process by encouraging the analyst to take a devil advocate's attitude toward both present and proposed methodology or method that are used. And then analyzing and improving methods is facilitated by the use of various charts, such as the flow chart diagram. So again, in this slide, I did talk about the current method that you have to document it, and then the proposed new method where you need to look into areas to improve, and then and use some charts as the flow chart diagram and value stream mapping to implement these diagrams. So I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to continue with another video on the flow chart and how we can create a flow chart diagram.